Hi guys, today we're going to work on lesson 8 in our chapter. This lesson is one of our problem solving lessons where we're going to use the strategy of writing a number sentence and applying what we've worked with so far in this chapter. So open up to page 267 in your math book to follow along. Alright, so similar to our other times we've used problem solving strategies, there's 4 main steps they want us to use: to understand, to plan, to solve, and then to check. Okay? So in this case, they want us to understand. Underline what you know, circle what you need to find. Okay, so this is the problem we're going to be working with through these steps. Okay, so the first thing is the underline what you know, circle what you need to find. So there are 24 bees on a flower. 15 bees fly away. How many bees are now on the flower? Okay, so we know, underline what you know, there are 24 bees on the flower. We know that 15 bees fly away. We're trying to figure out how many bees are on the flower now. Okay, so we understand the problem, we understand what it wants us to do. Plan how we're going to solve the problem. And we can use this, since we're working on a number sentence, I'm going to solve the problem by writing a number sentence. Later on, when we'll give you the option to choose your strategy, you can plan to solve the problem by drawing a picture, using the standard algorithm up and down, using a number sentence like this, whatever is your easiest part when it gives you that option to choose. But in this case, we're going to write a number sentence. So then solve, write a number sentence. All right, and we're going to have 24, and it's going to be a subtraction problem because the bees flew away. They're going away. So 24 minus 15, right, which, as you can see, is 9. Okay. Now the last part is to check. Is your answer reasonable? Explain. So now in our last lesson, we learned how we could use addition to check our subtraction. So we can do that. We can also talk about how your answer is reasonable because it would make sense that there would only be about 9. Our number's not too crazy small or too crazy big. But in this case, we can check our work by adding. 5 plus 9 is 14. Remember to carry that 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, 24, and that's what we started with, so it makes sense. Our answer makes sense that there would only be 9 left. All right, so let's practice the strategy a little bit. Okay, so same thing, same steps. We're just now working with a new problem. 84 children are at summer camp. 29 children leave to come home early. How many children are still at summer camp? So remember the first step, we want to underline what we know. We know that 84 children are at summer camp. We know that 29 children leave to come home early, and we know we're trying to figure out how many children are still there. Okay, so we understand the problem. I understand what it's telling me, and I understand what it's asking me. So the next is the plan. Plan. How will I solve the problem? Well, I'm going to use a number sentence again. So that's my plan to solve the problem. So then to solve it, we're going to set up that number sentence where we have 84 subtract, because the children left, so these 29 are leaving. 29 equals that. Now I'm going to move it off to the side and solve it using the standard algorithm because it's easier for me to set up. You could do a lot of different things. You could do the take apart a 10 strategy there. If you like, it's whatever strategy works best for you. So I have 4 minus 9, which I can't do without regrouping. So I have to make that a 7 and 14. 14 minus 9 is 5. 7 minus 2 is 5. Okay, so we have 55 is our answer. Now, in order to check that, we want to make sure that it makes sense. So I'm going to use my strategy of using addition to check. So 5 plus 9 is 14. 1 plus 5 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. That's what I started with. The answer makes sense. Okay? All right, so we're going to go through this page together. So there are 25 ants in an anthill. 13 ants leave. How many ants are there now? Okay, so they want us to write a number sentence. They want us to apply this strategy specifically, so they want us to write a number sentence. Okay, so 25 ants are on the hill. We know that. And we know that 13 ants leave, and we're trying to figure out how many are still there. So we have 25 We know they leave, so it's going to be subtraction. 13 of them leave. And that equals 12 ants. Okay? So they want us to have that number sentence. You could also write it up and down. Working on that rewriting. 5 minus 3 is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, and then you'd be able to find yours. Okay? You want to make sure that you write it this way as well, because that's what they're asking us to, and that's part of how you're answering, is writing the whole thing. But if you need to use that other strategy, that's fine. This morning there are 18 lions in the yard at the zoo. This afternoon there are 7 lions in the yard. How many lions are left in the yard? So what do we know? We know that this morning there were 18 lions in the yard. We know this afternoon there were 7 in the yard. How many are left? So there were 18. We know that we're trying to figure out what was left, so we can take away what we know is still there. So then our problem becomes 18 minus 7, which is 9. No. 18 minus 7, which is 11. Oh man, it's not going to let me rewrite that. I was going the wrong way. So 18 minus 7, which is 11. See, sometimes you have to correct yourself. See, I said it out loud and I knew in my brain that that answer didn't make sense. So there's that part of the strategy with checking. So 18 minus 7 is 11. There are 11 lions, okay? You could also set it up like this. 8 minus 7 is 1. 1 minus something is 1, and you could check. Okay? So for the little brain builder, we have together Jay and Sarah planted 41 daisies. Jay planted 12 daisies. Sarah said she planted more daisies than Jay. Is she correct? Okay, so we got to stretch our brain a little bit with this one. So we know that they planted 41 daisies and that Jay planted 12. And we know that Sarah said she planted more daisies. Okay, we're trying to figure out, though, if she is correct, and then explain our thinking. So I'm going to use this space off to the side, where I know if they did 41 total, and Jay did 12, if I take away that part, it will tell me how many Sarah planted. So we have 1 minus 2, which I can't do, I have to regroup. So it becomes 11 minus 2 is 9. 3 minus 1 is 2. So we know that Sarah planted 29. She said she planted more than Jay. Is 29 more than 12? Yes. And so to explain, we could say, yes, she is correct. Because 29 is greater than, or you can say bigger than, 12. Right? So that's a good example of explaining your thinking. It doesn't have to go long or crazy. It's just you know that she is right because when you solved it, you got 29, and that's bigger than 12. Okay? So I want you to do this reviewing the strategy page on your own. As you can see, you get to choose the strategy. You can either find a pattern, write a number sentence, act it out, draw a picture, whatever is easiest for you, but show your work. I have to be able to see how you solved it. So remember to underline and circle what you're trying to figure out, underline what you know, circle what you're trying to figure out, and use the different strategies and show your work. If you do it on a separate piece of paper because you don't have enough space here, just make sure you include that picture with your homework as well. And then when you go to do your homework, there's nothing for you to do on the first page, so you only have to solve this second page. Again, showing that work and attach that work with me, with your paper for me to see. All right? So I look forward to seeing how you guys are as problem solvers. Have a great rest of your day.